So getting better.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting better, Jocko has some supplements. They're Jocko supplements. So you know you're going to get better. And so Super Krill is the krill oil supplement. Good one. Super. And Joint Warfare. And Discipline. Okay, so we'll say those 3 supplements.
If anyone's wondering, if you're watching on YouTube and you're seeing me drink 2 things. I'm drinking 2 things. One of them is in a smart water bottle, and I'm drinking Discipline.
Sure.
The other is in a Poland Spring bottle that I brought back from Maine to remind me of Maine, and I'm drinking that one, Jocko White Tea. So
those bottles are in New York too, by the way. Everywhere.
Yeah, well, they're
Poland.
up in the Northeast, we'll say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Sweet.
you won't find Poland Spring out here.
No,
that's from Maine.
Well, you brought it back. That's dope. Nonetheless, so Super Krill oil, better than fish oil, factually. And then there's Jocko Super Krill, which is better than regular krill oil, factually. No, there's people out there not taking krill oil. And I'm not saying they should take krill oil. They should take krill oil.
I was gonna say,
it's just
I'm
not
gonna
what
say
I'm saying right now. I am saying I'll actually pretty much guarantee. I know that defeats the purpose of a guarantee, but I'll pretty much guarantee that if someone's not taking krill oil, whether it be Jocko krill oil or not, and they take krill oil, they'll be like, dang, I should have started taking this krill oil before.
Is it like learning jiu-jitsu? When you start jiu-jitsu, you go, man, I wish I started this when I was 13.
It's just like that on a smaller level, on a joint maintenance level.
Yeah, and joint warfare is what I'm feeling is, for me, that's kind of, it's new, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I wish I could have had this for a long time.
Wait, the joint warfare?
Yeah. Because you can feel, it's like you're getting maintenance.
Well, you should have came up with it earlier.
I know.
Next time, that's what you're going to do. You can come up with it earlier. That's what I think you should do. Nonetheless, they're for your joints. It's a good one. We're all working out.
Hey, we're making something. We're making a new product, we'll say.
Sure.
And it's going to be good. You're going to like it. It's a protein drink. And it's going to be we've done 2 samplings given the ingredient, so we give the ingredients to the supplement factory. They mix them, and we've gone through 2 iterations, right? The first iteration, I was like, oh my God, this tastes good.
Wait, what?
I'm talking pure taste. Taste. The first one, I was like, oh, this tastes good. Really good. Like the kind where you think this is a whole new thing. You know what I mean?
Wait, a whole new thing? Like this is like a treat?
Protein,
this is a dessert.
because protein tastes like protein powders. Tastes like crap.
Yeah. And
that was one of the things we researched to figure out how we could make it taste legit good, where not you're holding your nose and forcing it down, but the first sample that we got, which I was in Maine when we tasted it, we stood there. It was me, Brian, and Pete, and we were standing there, and we all mixed it up together and then poured it into 3 separate cups.
Sure.
And everyone, when we drank it, everyone's like quiet for a second, then it was, oh my God.
What kind is it?
This one was mint chocolate.
Mint chocolate. Okay.
And it's just really good. And obviously the protein in it is awesome. Yeah. And we've got some other things in it that are gonna make it more complete. But yeah, and then I just got the but there was a couple adjustments that I wanted to make to the taste, just the pure taste.
Yeah.
So we just made those adjustments. I got the second iteration in. It tastes even better than the first one, but I sent them back for one more. Hopefully it'll only be one more iteration before we can start producing. It's not going to come out for a while. It takes a long time to get everything rolling, but yeah. Anyways, we have that in the future.
That's interesting. Yeah. Because I'm not into protein powder.
I know you aren't.
I was back.
You will be.
There is this one. I forget what it's called.
I'm telling you. You will be.
It won't even be for protein. It'll be for like a dessert or something.
It'll be like someone saying they're not into this is going to be like someone saying I'm not into ice cream. That's how tasty it is.
All right. Well, good. I guess we'll see. I guess that's kind of the test, right? Yeah. In a way, it's a test. Well, good. Nonetheless, krill oil, joint warfare, and discipline. Those are already out.
Yep.
Doing work.
Discipline tastes good too.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You don't have to drink something that tastes like crap just because it's awesome for you. You can drink something that tastes good. And I'll tell you one thing I've noticed, and I don't know what this means, but when I drink Discipline, because I work out in the morning, as I say all the time. I don't do a pre-workout thing. It's not my thing, right? I work out in the morning on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
And there's this old rock climber, and I can't think of his name right now. One of the famous old rock climbers, and I read an article one time about him where he would climb while starving himself and wearing a weight belt because it was harder. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I've done that all the time. I've done it ever since.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you have some discipline, the drink, then you will feel like, so when I get done working out, maybe like, let's say, I always say, I usually have some nuts around, some mixed nuts just to kind of get in my gut, little food. I've been having some a couple handfuls of mixed nuts and then having some Discipline, and I feel so like super good that then I'm just firing through the day. And so basically what I'm getting at is I've been eating even cleaner because I'm eating basically right now, I think I'm eating once a day. Dang. I'm eating Discipline, I'm drinking some Discipline, and then I'm going once a day with a good solid meal. And then, it's good. It's good stuff. Anyways,
and that's good. And that works for you.
It's working good for you because I'll tell you why. When I eat less, I feel better.
Yeah, that's
when
weird.
I eat less, I feel better. And so this is making me eat less. Now, I'm not saying, believe me, when I eat, dude, I get it on. That's how I roll. When I eat, I get it on. But this is just, it's nice to be able to feel energized and sharp mentally without getting crazy.
Do you think that, because that idea that when you eat less and you feel better, and I found that to be the case, and this is what I realized, I found that to be the case only sometimes, and I was thinking, why is it like that sometimes? If I'm doing something like, when we go to the muster or something like that, or we're at FTX, we were doing something all day.
You don't eat.
And I wasn't eating.
And
it's kind of like, yes. But if you eat, it's kind of like your body goes into this like kind of rest mode.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you eat a little bit or like just, like.
I'm going to stand down. Oh, it's time to eat. Okay, we cruising now.
Let's rest.
When you put
now,
some food in your body, you're basically telling yourself you're going into level 7 echo cruising mode.
Technically recover mode. It's really kind of what it does, and that's really what it felt like. So I found that you probably have a bunch of stuff to do all the time.
Yeah, but when I'm when I'm doing a fast, I want to be doing something. Because if you sit around and think about food, bro, that's horrible. You feel like when Charlie Plum was talking about being in the Hanoi Hilton, and he's just thinking of, they were just literally sitting around thinking about food all the time. Yeah, because there wasn't even anything to do.
Yeah, and eating food is actually a little bit of a cure or relief from boredom. Yeah, you know how you used to back in the day when you're a kid, you're just bored, you look in the fridge for, I don't know, something.
You're not hungry, you're bored.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's funny because right now I got my, it's wrestling season, so the weight cuts are on. And they're not, neither one of my kids that are wrestling are cutting a bunch of weight. Right. But it means that it means that there's times when you don't eat for a day, right?
Dang. Okay.
So you get to see the effects of that. And my daughter's like, she's like, I feel fine. She
doesn't get hangry or nothing.
Yeah, she doesn't get hangry. I warned my wife. I said, hey, you need to watch out because when we're cutting weight with fighters, they're cutting much more severe weight and they start getting in bad moods.
Oh, fighters, you mean?
Yeah. They start getting in bad moods because they can't eat. They get hangry, But neither one of my kids are cutting that much weight. They're just kind of maintaining through the season.
I don't know if we talked about hangry. Like that's a for real thing because this is what it is. Physiologically. Yeah. So that your frontal cortex or prefrontal, frontal, I don't know, whatever, the front of your brain, the part that's
you're the scientist
that
apparently.
Makes decisions and empathy and like all these things get compromised when you're.
Wait, when you're what?
Hungry.
Oh, come on, man.
Listen to me.
No, listen. I'll tell you why. Because I believe that if you made all those things less effective, then we wouldn't be here as a species. Because every time we got hungry in the past, we would have gotten all confused and frustrated, and we wouldn't be able to hunt. But the bottom line is the opposite. I think is true. Back in the day, if you needed to hunt something down, you had to be sharp. So when you didn't eat, it made you sharper and more attuned. That's how I feel.
Okay, that's not what I read and heard. But hey, I'm not saying you're
wrong. Isn't it weird
that
you can go on the internet and find two scientific articles that say the exact opposites?
Just follow me. So hangry, from what I read.
Scientific term.
Correct. Because, well, they didn't use the word hangry. But empathy, and this is with, like, if you get hungry or sleep deprived.
Whatever.
Just a part of your brain kind of. It doesn't shut down completely. It just becomes.
Oh, I forgot. Yesterday, I went to sleep. I went to bed.
Sure.
At 8:30 at night.
Dang, that's a good one.
Yeah, I woke up at like 3:50, and I was like, dang, that felt good.
Yeah.
But I didn't sleep almost at all the night before, so I was recovering. I needed to put some more back in the bank, and everyone says you can't do that.
Yeah.
Everyone says you can't catch up on sleep. I just did.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just did.
I
bro.
feel like you
For
can.
real. Yeah, I caught up on sleep. Mm-hmm. I never let you finish your scientific explanation. So, what was the deal?
You're just less
cortex or whatever.
Empathy. So you'll treat people worse.
Oh,
technically. So yeah, hangry. That's apparently from what I read is an actual thing.
Maybe it ups your aggression. Maybe it ups your aggression. Maybe it does make you sharper. When you're sharper, you're not taking any crap from anybody, so you're more aggressive towards them because you want to go out and hunt and kill something. So maybe I do agree with your weird science.
You say tomato, I say tomato. You be aggressive, but nonetheless, it's a real thing. Apparently.
Okay.
Who knows? I don't know. Not to say that everyone's going to behave in a certain way. I'm just saying that's what happens internally. Maybe not. Nonetheless, get disciplined. It'll cognitively enhance. So if your prefrontal or frontal cortex, I forget which one.
Just both of them.
If your frontal thing in your brain is shutting down, boom, take that discipline. The cognitive enhancer is going to help it out a lot. Don't be hangry, even if you're hungry. Guess where you can get these things? At originmain.com. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. Origin Main also has gis, rash guards, various clothing items, all made in America. That's a good spot. Just check it out. Look on there. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. If you want something, get something. Also, if you're into workout equipment to populate your home gym, it's good having a home gym, by the way. One of my friends is coming into town. And he's like, yeah, let's catch a workout. I'm like, we don't have to go to a gym and catch a workout. Work out at home to do something else. Nonetheless, it made me think of how good it is to have a home gym. Nonetheless, if you have your home gym, you want to populate it even a little bit, get your workout stuff from On It. That's what I think. It's the cool one. You can do various interesting workout routines with the equipment, unlike Jocko. Jocko's workouts are super boring, even though you do have kettlebells, which I respect.
Yeah, and anything you want to add on that?
No, man, that's it.
Are you sure about that?
As far as the workout thing.
What about the kettlebell thing?
No, the kettlebell, you're good, bro. You're good, you're solid, and I'm sure you're getting very strong, and I'm sure,
In case everyone doesn't know, Echo was running his mouth, and I use that term I'm not just throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm. I really was running my mouth, and you're really pissed about it, too.
That you have a what? How much is your heaviest kettlebell?
90
pounds?
Bigfoot. Boom.
And my heaviest kettlebell was 88 pounds. This is no longer a problem. Now my heaviest kettlebells, plural, because I have two, is 48 kilograms or 106 pounds. Dang. Commonly referred to as the beast. So,
nonetheless, mine are from On It. They're the cool ones. And you can get other cool exercise stuff there. So go onit.com/Jocko. Check out the stuff there. If you want something, get something. Also, when you get your copy of Reveries on the Art of War by Maurice de Saxe. It's a good one. I like those manual kind ones, the one that goes by.
I know. If you think about it, there's really 3 types of podcasts that are happening. One is Q&A. Mm-hmm. 2 is manual strategies about war. 3 is human nature inside war. So those are kind of, when I'm reading a book, I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of like one of those.
Yeah.
So this would be with Napoleon's maxims, something like that. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. So we've done quite a number of books like that. Yeah. And, I get a little something different from each of them. Because if you think about it, he says that you have to pay attention to the human heart. Mm-hmm. Well, where are you going to learn about the human heart? He didn't say much about it. As much as he said you need to know about it, he didn't say much about it. Where are you going to find it? You're going to find it by reading people that were actually in war and start to understand where their heart was in this whole gig.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting too because laid out in these specific contexts, like Sun Tzu, he's talking about, a certain time period, a certain place. And then you see a Vietnam one, and then a World War, and so they're talking about, okay, these principles at this time, and this is why they work.
Well, it was interesting to do I Drang and Hal Moore, because it was his battle, 2 podcasts on his battle, and then his book that he wrote about leadership. So you kind of got to see, maybe, I don't know if there's anything. Now, we've seen some of that when, for instance, you got Napoleon's Maxims, right? And then we got to hear from a Napoleonic foot soldier. So you get to kind of see the war, what the war was like, what the human heart was going on with the human heart, and then what was going on with the minds of the statistician.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a word.
Sure. I think so.
Just became, what's cool is the English language, you can, words, they come about. Yeah. They just get formed.
Yeah, that's a catch.
There's a time where there was no word, and then that word is there.
Yeah, boom.
And if you look at the OED, which is the Oxford English Dictionary, it tells you where the word came from, and then it has like first usages. So there's some words. This word was first in print in 1622 in this work of art or this work of literature. Yeah,
what's crazy too is like words will go in these cycles where they'll be used like ain't, right? If you say ain't, that's like, that's an improper thing. It's not really a word, blah, blah, blah. Ain't was actually used by like high upper class people back in the day, like a long time ago. And like ain't and shan't and all these like words, like I shan't, all this, and ain't was one of them. It was one of them. And I forget the deal, but someone in the lower class started using it, and they were like, oh, they're using it now or something like that. So it went out. And now it's like, oh, that's not a word, but it is a word.
The language in general, but definitely the English language. I studied English in college, but the classes that I took, some of the classes that I took would focus on that, which was which was always very interesting to me, And I think the reason it's interesting to me is because language is how we communicate. Communication is how we lead.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what words you're using, or you can't find the right word to articulate what it is you're trying to say, you're going to have a harder time getting your message across. When you have a harder time getting your message across, it's harder for you to lead.
Yeah. So, and then if you kind of look at the big picture of that, it's kind of like you have, then you kind of, in a way, should know slang and stuff like that
For
too.
sure.
Because if you're over here talking quote unquote all proper to people who aren't used to hearing all proper, they're going to be like, what's this guy talking about or whatever.
That is definitely true. And it's not just about language there, it's about culture as well.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things that when I grew up and I was kind of, getting into and I was in the hardcore scene, right? It exposed me to people and things that I wouldn't have seen if I would have stayed in my small New England town. So when I got to the world, meaning got out of that small town and now I was in the military, I was able to understand better than I would have if I didn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah. It helps for sure. Yeah. Okay, how's this word? Irregardless, right? Irregardless.
No, it's not even a word.
Right? That's what they said. So I had this bet. This is a long time. This is like over 10 years ago. I had this bet with this coworker of mine. And for whatever, I think my dad taught me, like, irregardless, that's not a word, And he'd always, like, correct you. Yeah. So you know how it imprints in your mind, like, someone uses the word irregardless, they should be corrected. That was kind of imprinted in my subconscious. So it happened at work.
Echo Charles Grammar Nazi.
Yeah,
coming at you
for
live.
A little bit I was. For a little bit. It was more just out of fun, but nonetheless, she was a girl. I said, irregardless is not a word. And she was like, yeah, it is. And I was like, no, irregardless is like a misuse of a word. It's not irregardless, it's regardless. Irregardless is a misuse of a word. It's not a word. She's like, well, if it's a misuse of a word, it's the word for the misuse of this specific word. And I'm like, it's not a word.
What the hell did that just mean?
Yeah, but she's saying basically if you can say it and you can spell it, and it's like if it's a little name for something,
It's not the name of anything.
It's a name for a misuse of a word. That was her argument. That's
okay.
That's what I was saying.
Did you win money? Please?
No, I did not win the money.
Did you bet money?
No. So it never got resolved between me and her. In fact, we hated it. I think we kind of hated each other.
Yeah, I would hate her
because it got
too.
heated. We actually didn't hate each other. It was cool. But nonetheless, that was her stance. My stance is you can't just invent a word. You can't just use a word wrong, invent another word because you're wrong, and then be like, oh, now it's a word. Now I'm right. All of a sudden, you can't do that. That's not how it works. Yeah. And then so I look it up in the dictionary. Yeah, it was haunting me. So when I went over, I looked it up in the dictionary. Sure enough, the thing was there. And it said the misuse of the common misuse of regardless. So but I'm still confused. Like, is that a word? And here's the thing. I talked to Jade about it. Yeah, it bothered me a lot. Yeah. So I talked to Jade about it, and he was like, bro, that's kind of how the language is.
No, he's right.
You get enough people misusing regardless, saying irregardless, boom, all of a sudden it gets shuffled right into the rotation as a legitimate word. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I'll tell you what, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It is.
Right?
The language is always evolving. Yeah. And that's what allows the language, just like jiu-jitsu, just like mixed martial arts. Yeah. You want it to evolve. You want it to, new words to come out that can articulate something a little bit better. Yeah. Like, for instance, irregardless articulates that you don't know the English language very well.
Well, yeah,
But at some point, 100 years in the future, irregardless will become a word that has a little bit of a different meaning than regardless. Like it's more regardless.
Yeah.
Like irregardless of what you're saying. Oh. And it will say first used in, somebody's going to write an article in online and the guy's going to misuse it, but everyone's going to understand it. And it's going to say first used here.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of arguments you can have about language, but you have to remember that it's evolving all the time. Our language is evolving all the time, and it should. In France, they try not to let their language evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try and keep that language.
It's interesting. I wonder what the ultimate result is. Something like that would be. Brother, the word.
I think it's the same result if you try and not evolve your martial arts.
Yeah.
Eventually, if you don't evolve your martial arts, you're going to lose. That's what I think. I think it's the same thing with language.
Yeah, you become less effective communication-wise in language as far as that goes. The word literally now. Okay, literally. We know it. Here's the hard part about accepting this, because literally means something very specific. Mm-hmm. There's no ambiguousness. If it started to be ambiguous, you wouldn't say literally. You'd say figuratively, or you just won't say anything. That's that's the defining characteristic of the word literally. But here's the thing. Now, literally doesn't mean literally. Literally means just almost
a lot.
Yeah, just really strong. Not even almost literally. Yeah. It's just really strong. So if I was like, man, this guy's joke was so funny, I was literally dying, right? Mm-hmm. I wasn't almost dying. It's not what it means. It just means it was super duper duper funny, you know?
That one's changing.
Yeah, man. But that's a hard one to accept.
Like and all. And I think there's another word, but in America and California, this is a recent one. So maybe the 80s, everyone's in order to say said like or all. Eka was like, you got to stop doing this, and I was all, no way am I going to do that. And that's just the way language evolves.
Yeah. Dang, that's cool. Hey man, I dig it. So nonetheless, if you want to buy this book, irregardless of the language in it,
don't do that.
What I did was I made it easy. You go to jockopodcast.com. On the top menu, whatever, put a page there. Has all the books by episode. This one is on there along with everything else. Just click through there. It's a good way to support. And it takes you to Amazon. You get your book in 8 hours, however long it takes to ship to your house. Good way to support. Also, if you're doing other shopping, if you're going to buy that lawnmower and leaf blower that you've been meaning to buy, and the rake as well.
False.
I'm just saying.
You're in the wrong time zone. Wrong time of year for that.
Oh, yeah. Wait, the rake. No, it's about to be spring. So what?
You got another 6 months before you get the rake out and the lawn blower.
Yeah. That's one of the last things I bought was a leaf blower.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Long story. Nonetheless, duct tape. That's a year-round thing. Yeah. So if you can get duct tape, just carry on shopping, whatever you want to do. That's what you do. Good way to support. Also, subscribe to the podcast. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever else they have podcasts, and wherever else you want to listen to the podcast. They have like new podcast apps out too.
Yeah. They all have them though.
Yeah, and I dig it. So, hey, whatever you're using to listen, subscribe. Yeah. It's a good way. Seems obvious, I guess, on the listening part. But YouTube, not so much. We have a YouTube channel. Subscribe to that, too. That's a good way to support, if you want. Because some people not into YouTube.
Who's not into YouTube?
I don't know, but
YouTube has some good information on it. You can also waste a bunch of time on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's like the internet in general, you know, a lot of good stuff. Your whole pursuit can be on the internet, and it can be very beneficial. And at the same time, your whole pursuit can be on the internet or YouTube, and it can be detrimental.
What do you mean your pursuit?
Whatever you're trying to do, going on the internet will basically make it out. So if you're trying to learn 3D modeling, go on the internet. You can learn 3D modeling 100%. Well, not 100%, but you can learn to be a professional 3D modeler on the internet. At the same time, you get caught up watching some nonsense and not even take one step towards 3D modeling. That's what I'm saying. It's the dichotomy of the internet. YouTube has the same dichotomy. But if you subscribe to the Jocko Podcast YouTube channel, there's no dichotomy there.
All good.
All good. 100% upside, because it has a video version of the podcast. It has excerpts, and it has various other little videos we'll just sort of add.
Mm-hmm.
I always say I'm going to add, but this time I think I'm really going to add a different type of video. You'll see. It'll be good. Anyway, good way to support. Also, Jocko has a store, if you didn't already know. It's called Jocko Store. JockoStore.com. That's where you can get the shirt that Jocko's wearing right now. Victory MMA and Fitness. You don't even have to be a member of Victory MMA and Fitness.
If you have the shirt, you're kind of a member.
Yeah.
At least in spirit.
Yeah. You're a member in that sort of way. Nonetheless, it's on JockoStore.com. It's where you can get any of the shirts that we make and sell. We also have hoodies on there, and rash guards, and hats, and patches. A lot of good stuff. Kids, women's, good stuff. I'm not saying to go buy something. I'm not saying that. I'm saying go there, JockoStore.com. Check out the stuff. You want something, get something. And that's a good way to support. Also, psychological warfare. If you don't know what that is, which I know you do, but in the unlikely event of you not knowing what that is, this is what it is. It's an album. Not a music album. It's a spoken word album with tracks of Jocko helping us through weak points of our day, weak points of our campaign against weakness, weak points of our struggle. Good struggles.
Struggle for good, sure.
Struggle for good. That's what it is. You know, the day you want to sleep in, or you want to cheat on the diet, you want to procrastinate, you want to skip the workout. That's the main one. That's the iconic one. Skipping the workout.
Because you like to skip workouts. Oh, the rest of us are over here getting leg day.
Bruh, I'm sure I did legs the other day. A good one. Didn't skip it.
Psychological warfare, that's on iTunes.
It helps you through it.
Yeah.
Some people, they don't know. So it's Jocko on each track. Bro, I'm telling you, sometimes they're like, wait, what is it? I didn't hear of this. Psychological warfare.
Now they're not going to listen to the rest of this podcast.
Bro, they will. It only has 2 minutes, 25 minutes left. I'm just saying. Psychological warfare is good.
Almost done.
If you want Jocko to help you, just put it in. That's how it originated. It helped me not skip workouts.
You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on Amazon Music. You can get it on Google Play and other podcasting other MP3 platforms.
Providing platforms.
Also, if you're on Amazon, you can get something called Jocko White Tea. If you don't want to have your deadlift increase to a minimum of 8,000 pounds, then don't get Jocko White Tea. You can get the books. Yeah, the books that we cover on the podcast, which are all listed on the website. You can also get a couple books that you might want to check out. One of them is called Way of the Warrior Kid. I actually wrote that book. It teaches kids to make their lives better, to get on the path and work hard. There's another book coming out. It's actually available on Amazon right now. Well, you can't get it yet, but you can pre-order it. If you want to spread the word, you pre-order it. That makes more people see it, so that's cool. It's called Way of the Warrior Kid, Mark's Mission.
Nice.
Little follow-up to Way of the Warrior Kid.
Yeah.
Different lessons to be learned. So you can check that out. If you want to check out an actual warrior kid, you can go and get some Jocko soap from young Aiden. 12 years old, no big deal. You know what he's doing? Making soap. He has his own business. You can get that at irishoaksranch.com. Like I said, a 12-year-old kid making goat milk soap. You know why? You know why I did that? You can't sell goat milk in California.
Yeah.
But you can sell goat soap.
Goat milk, so for sure.
So he wanted to make some good ones. So you can check that out as well. The Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual. It's about getting after it. There's really nothing more to say. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from that book, so I appreciate it. And once you feel that you've gotten what you can out of it, loan it to somebody so they can get on the path too. Maybe they'll get their own, or get it for them, whatever. It's your choice. Important part of that, everyone wants the audio version of that book. The Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual is not on Audible. It's on iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, other MP3 platforms. And it also is an album that has tracks. Some people say with tracks. Extreme Ownership, the new edition is out. Thank you for helping us put the new edition together, because we've got questions from this podcast. Well, new for it, but we've also got pictures or questions from the podcast in there. Extreme Ownership, Combat Leadership, how to get out there and lead and win. For on-site leadership instruction and consulting, you can bring our company, Echelon Front, to your organization. We solve problems through leadership. Simple as that. You got a problem? The way you get the problem solved is through leadership. It's me. It's Leif Babin. It's JP Donnell. It's Dave Burke. Email info@echelonfront.com, or you can go through the website echelonfront.com. There's also the Muster Leadership Seminar with the Echelon Front team. We're only doing 2 this year. I'm going to try and get a bunch of questions that I get asked all the time. I'm going to try and get rid of those questions right now. We're only doing 2 musters this year. We aren't going to New York City. We aren't going to Texas. We aren't going to Florida. We aren't going to your hometown. I'm sorry. We just can't. We can't go to every town in America to do a muster. We're only doing 2 of them this year. We're doing 1 in Washington, D.C. So there's an East Coast and a West Coast. 1 is in Washington, D.C. It's May 17th and 18th. We're doing another one in San Francisco, October 17th and 18th. So if you want to come to a muster, you got to come to one of those 2. We're not going to Omaha. We're not going to Milwaukee. I want to go there, but unfortunately we can't just get to all those different places. So apologize. Thus far, there has been 4 musters that we've done over the past year and a half. They all sold out. These 2 musters are going to sell out as well. So if you want to come and you want to learn pragmatic leadership skills and strategies, then you can go to extremeownership.com and you can register. We will see you there. Echo Charles will also be there. And until you get to the muster, if you have questions for us or you have answers for us, we're looking for both. We're here, and we are cruising hard, actually, on the interwebs, on Twitter, Instagram, and on the Facebook. Echo is at Echo Charles, and I am at Jocko Willing.